Two Drink Cinema! Cheers. Cheers.
Woo! Cheers.
Clink. You're not getting a can opening sound effect for the start of this episode because we have already started on our next drink.
We have fastened our seatbelts.
It's going to be I would say smooth.
It's not going to be smooth.
If a tangent is a bump, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's going to be a distracted ride.
Distracted
drink
or
driving.
distracted?
It's like drink driving.
You shouldn't do it.
You shouldn't.
But you can drink and podcast.
Yeah, we ate before. We are responsible drinkers.
Don't drink and drive.
Podcasters.
Even if you've eaten, don't drink and drive.
Okay, anyway.
Okay? We have to do our little public service
true.
announcement. At the end, we say drink responsibly.
We do say that.
Yep. We, the brand
the brand of Two Drink Cinema.
And so we're saying it at the start as well. Don't drink and drive. Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you have subscribed either on the YouTube or whatever platform that you listen. Give us a thumbs up on the YouTube videos. And if you are listening on a podcast platform, give us a rating and review us. That's the best way for everybody to know how good we are. Tell your friends.
I told plenty of friends.
I've told lots of friends too.
I had a friend's 30th plus one on the weekend because she was 30 last year. She couldn't do it because of lockdown.
Yep.
And then I ate my body weight in gin. And then...
because you knew all about Eve was coming up.
Yeah. So I wanted to get... It was domestic gin.
Yeah.
And everyone was talking
Do we have domestic gin? The domestic gins in Australia are the high-shelf gin.
The place I went to was like, we make it out the back.
Oh, so very domestic.
Yeah.
Like literally...
Like in the guy's bathtub.
Domestic comes from the word home, so it was probably at some bloke's house. And you told everyone about it.
Well, I was talking to friends and stuff.
Domestic, domicile. Domicile
That's
is
true.
your house.
I think when I think domestic, I always think violence.
Okay, not good. We should have had a trigger warning on this episode.
I've been watching a lot of police things. And by a lot, I mean one police series.
A lot of it.
But a lot of it, yeah.
So this week we are talking all about Eve because, Brett, you assigned me to watch it. 1950.
5 times.
It's almost the oldest movie I've ever watched.
Really?
Yes.
What is the oldest movie I've ever watched?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, like
I don't
The
feel
Wizard
like
of Oz.
I don't feel like I've watched any silent movies.
Okay.
So like 1939 is probably the earliest I've watched.
Yep.
That
could change soon.
It was a big year, 1939, for cinema.
It was.
In the Oscars particularly, and a big year all about Eve, 1950. We'll go for the Oscars straight off the bat.
Just bam.
Because I know you've got it.
They make fun of it straight away in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like, and that a movie award.
Yeah, that it got nominated for 16 of.
14.
14.
Of most ever, tied with other movies, one that kind of deserves it and the other one that doesn't deserve it at all. It's Titanic and La La Land. So, yeah, right.
I was going to say, like, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King was nominated for a lot.
11.
A couple have been nominated for 11.
A few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But only 3 nominated for 14.
Nominated for 14.
All About Eve, 100% deserves all 14.
5 of them are acting.
4 of them, and this is the record, isn't it?
For women.
4 women acting nominations for one movie. Hasn't been done before nor since.
Only done the once.
And it is an absolute powerhouse of female acting.
Oh, yeah. It's
that we haven't even seen now. Like, we're at the moment now of obviously the social change around women and representation and equality. Yeah. But, like, there's so many movies that are powered by women now, but I haven't seen something as powerfully women and as powerfully acted by women as this movie.
Yes. Because they're all strong women in very different ways. The 3 main ones.
Yep. Yep.
And then Birdie,
And then
the helper.
Thelma Ritter is Thelma Ritter.
Thelma Ritter is Thelma Ritter. She gained a career being Thelma Ritter.
So good.
She's like, it's like today, if an actor wanted to be Thelma Ritter, it'd just be like, oh, but that's all she does.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, that's all she does because she's very good at it.
She does it so well.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and I wrote it in my notes as I was watching the movie. Thelma Ritter, ! Because she's just so good. But also then I wrote later, she's the comic relief, but she's also a character that makes a point.
Well, she's the first one kind of at the start that goes, something's up with this Eve woman.
Yes, but, and we'll discuss it as we get deeper into the movie, but the whole thing is women in theatre.
Yes.
And so we have
true.
Margot, who is the aging superstar.
Yes.
And Eve, who we find out from at the start, is the young superstar. But then we have Thelma Ritter, who was the vaudeville star
before
Margot, but didn't make it into the actual theatre.
No.
And so now is essentially a maid.
Yeah, she's a assistant.
Yes. Well, and maid, answer the door, get rid of that autograph hunter.
Yeah.
Clean up, answer the phone,
Just generally insult me.
So not only is she, like when we see comic relief in movies, they don't have any bearing on the plot or any contribution to the point of the movie.
Yes.
And Thelma Ritter has both, her character, Bertie, has both of those things. She has the comic relief, she has the, Eve might be a bit dodgy, and she has the third option of theatre woman.
Yes. Whereas like in other Thelma Ritter, I'm trying to think of the two that
Rear
she's
Window.
in off the top of my head. Rear Window, she's that same kind of thing helper of Jimmy Stewart.
Yep. But she's a bit of balance.
Then she goes and...
Yeah.
digs.
And early on, she's a bit of balance against James Stewart's going a bit mental.
Yeah.
But she kind of is trying to balance that out with Grace Kelly. And then eventually she gets turned around and is sent across the courtyard.
Yes.
And the other one you're trying to think of?
Is Pillow Talk, where she's literally just comic relief. She's like Rock Hudson's maid who comes in every day completely hungover.
Okay.
Like it's just if you can imagine Birdie hungover, very badly hungover all the time. That's basically her character 9 years later in a different movie.
She's very good at it though, and very good at that kind of, and she's balancing out the wildness and the bitterness of Margot.
And the ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
There's many egos in this movie.
Did you like that very early on, because you're a Family Guy fan, did you like that very early on they said the title of the movie?
I did think that. That is a running gag. Eve. I love that almost every character that says Eve's name. I feel like every time they say her name, they say it the same.
Eve.
You know what I mean?
Like each person has their own way.
Has their specific way of saying Eve.
Yeah.
And every time they say it the same way. Eve.
We only get 2 narrators.
3. Isn't Betty does a bit.
I don't think so.
I think she does a little bit, but not as much as the other 2.
So we get
Karen.
Addison DeWitt, George Sanders.
George Sanders, yes.
And Karen, who definitely has some
Bridges.
Definitely has some Karen moments.
Definitely some Karen moments in there.
They're the 2 main narrators.
Maybe that's where it started.
I was on board with the narrator at the start as Addison DeWitt because you learn early on that he's, the writer and the critic, and so that makes sense for him to be the narrator.
Yes.
But then I did, as it went along, the jumping between, sometimes he narrates, sometimes Karen narrates.
Yeah.
I found that a little bit strange.
Okay.
But then I feel like if it was a book,
It's like
maybe
chapter 1.
the book was written, these chapters are from Addison's and these chapters are from Karen's point of view.
Yeah. I always think it could have been if there's the 4 other main people.
Yep. The director, the writer,
the
Eve.
wife, and Betty.
So there's the 6.
That aren't, so the other 5 that aren't Eve.
Yes.
It almost would be a better movie if they all narrated at some point about what they think of Eve, blah, blah, blah.
But I feel then within the story that would give Bette Davis less chance to act as well as she does as Margot Channing.
Yeah.
Because she is full Bette Davis in this.
Oh, yeah.
This is her, peak.
Yeah, but interestingly...
She wasn't the original...
Resurrected... I don't know, actually. Actually, no, she wasn't, but anyway.
Because that's how you start all of them.
Interestingly,
she wasn't the original.
She says it resurrected her career. So she was big in the 30s.
Yeah.
Won a couple of Oscars, straight away.
Yep.
Then after that...
Eve style.
Just bang, bang. Came out. Bam, I'm amazing.
Yep.
Then after that, she kind of started making some shit movies. I was going to say questionable, but apparently shit.
Yep.
And they flopped. So then she was like, she couldn't get a job. Nobody would hire her. Blah, blah, blah. To the point where she apparently took out an ad in Variety. And it was just divorced, mother of 2, long-time actress in the silver screen, can do this, surprisingly nimble for my age, blah, 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 something like that. And then she also had a reputation of being very difficult to work with.
Yes. It's probably why she works so well as Margot Channing.
Yeah, so she might have been not acting that much, but...
was she drunk a lot in real life?
Probably.
Margot?
She probably was. I think everybody was back then.
Yeah,
so she says
smoking.
then this started her career again. Resurrected her career after the slump. Then she came back.
She came straight back into an Oscar
nomination.
Yeah. So it's a very mysterious movie. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
Which I think if it was made now,
you'd know straight away.
The movie would be a little bit more from Eve's point of view and how she does the manipulation.
It'd be Gone Girl.
Yes. Although in Gone Girl, you don't know it's all fake until the end. Spoiler.
Oh, that's a newish movie, so we shouldn't spoil it. But it's
the book's been out for years.
Yeah, she kidnaps herself. Anyway,
she slits Barney Stinson's throat.
Yeah,
while they're doing it.
It is an interesting thing because what I noticed this time more than other times I've watched it is that apart from one very short scene until the end, there's never any scenes with Eve on her own. So you don't actually get an idea
behind
of who Eve really is.
Yes.
Because obviously she comes in and it's all, blah, this sob story, blah, 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 I'm from Wisconsin or whatever. Which obviously then later on you realise, or you get told, is all fake.
Yeah.
Because it's just her way of getting in.
But and I wrote in the notes her story of how Eve came to be so in love with Margot and moving to New York. It's a very captivating story.
Yes.
And she tells it very well.
Yeah.
Which then when you realise later that it's all fake, you go, oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, she is a good actress.
Yeah.
Wowzers. But then because she acts different later on, obviously there's peaks and troughs. Earlier on, she's the sweet, farm girl or whatever.
Yeah, the simple girl.
Worked in a brewery.
Yes. I wrote something like a fish out of water kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But not that. Anyway,
A duck out of pond.
yeah, duck out of pond is what I wrote. That classic saying.
That's bastardized saying.
So, is this a bit of the golden age of cinema, or this is just the kind of the end of the golden age of cinema, would you say? 30s, 40s, the golden age.
Yeah.
Is this the golden age of cinema having a little bit of a jab at the self-indulgent theatre scene?
Well, that's what I was thinking. When I watched it, I'm like, oh, it takes the piss out of movies for a movie that
but it also takes
all of Hollywood loves.
But it also takes the piss out of the theatre.
It does. It makes
because
them look
everybody
very...
in the theatre talks like this.
Yeah.
And everybody in the theatre is making fun of the cinema. And you can't possibly go to Hollywood. And Eve's always, oh no, you can't go to Hollywood. You'll never return.
And then Bette Davis is like, I can do whatever I want. That was terrible. Oh,
that's on the drinking game card, though.
Terrible.
Drink now.
Terrible impression.
Terrible impression. Tick.
You know, I can't do a Bette Davis. I'm not even going to try. It's just going to be
Can
offensive.
you do the Bette Davis eyes?
No, I can't. Like, they
from
can't get
Kim
big.
Khan's point of view.
They can't get that big enough. It is interesting.
So-
That's what I was like. And then obviously there's one big scene where the writer cracks the shits, and it's just like Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who wrote the movie.
Yep.
Is clearly just like, oh, I have these feelings about actors, and I'm going to put them all in about.
Oh no! Even
actors.
before that, at the very start,
Yeah.
when Bill, the director, meets Eve,
Yeah.
and he just goes on this tirade about the theatre. Oh, the elephant with the ball, that's theatre. The flea circus, that's theatre. Everything's theatre. You women think that only the theatre is behind this ivory green room. It's like, is this just cinema having a go at theatre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did seem that way, but then it also seems to be making fun of cinema at the same time.
I think that's from the book. The book has probably written theatre taking the piss out of Hollywood.
That is true. Yeah.
And then Hollywood's like, as much as this is a really good movie, I've also got to take the piss out of and have a jab at theatre.
That was the thing. It's like when you watch it, because it's a movie you really have to watch. Like, because you have to follow and see who's this person,
Yes,
person.
I got no Candy
what's
Crush
he doing,
levels
blah, blah,
finished
blah.
during this
No,
movie.
I might have, but maybe not the first time I watched it. But there's a lot of words. There is a lot of talking in this movie.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you don't, I don't want to sound like an old man.
Okay.
You don't get movies like that now
No.
in the mainstream. You have to go off the main
Yeah.
into the indie or, into the art house before
yeah.
you get actors' movies.
Mm.
And I wrote in my notes, it's so well directed, and I love the simple, it's just a camera.
On someone's face.
It's just a camera
Yeah.
and actors.
Yeah.
And
It
it
is
walks
almost just like a
behind the
play.
actors into the... Well, that's why I looked up whether it was an original screenplay or not, because a couple of things that make it seem like it could have been a play is that it's a very simple direction.
Yep.
And
It's a small
cast.
and there's not like the other things you think of plays. It's like it's not that many
sets.
places they go.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff.
there's you could do it with 10 people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and extras and one line. Like there's the credit of
You could do it-
aging actress.
You could do it without Marilyn Monroe. Oh,
I've got a
No.
couple of notes about Marilyn Monroe
I have one. Yep.
a
Good.
little bit later.
Yeah. But it was
So-
wasn't. It was like based off
A short story.
story she published in Cosmo, back when Cosmo wasn't just about sex quizzes.
It was on the page after the sex quiz.
Yes, and it's not the sealed section.
Yeah.
It was a legit section.
Actual Cosmo?
Was Cosmo the one with the sealed section?
Was Cosmo or Cleo the Australian one?
Cleo was the
Cleo
Australian
was
one.
the Australian one
Yeah. Like Holly Valance. on
that
the
always
cover.
would have had the Hemsworth from their Home and Away days on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie on the cover. You know all this
Yep.
shit. Yeah. Anyway, no, she's not shit. I like Margot Robbie. Continue. Speaking of Margot's.
So, there's a lot in it,
Yep.
but then in between, things happen quickly. Like the conversation in the alley between Karen, the screenwriter's wife, and Eve is a very deep
Bridges.
is a very deep conversation and does a lot of explaining as to Eve's character. But then within 10 minutes, they're saying, you have to tell us your origin story.
Yeah. It's an interesting way of setting up the... I think it does well at introducing the characters and telling what they're all about on a base level. Obviously, then you dig deeper into Eve because it is all about Eve.
And you do dig deeper into Margot.
Yes.
But yeah, they had very probing questions in that dressing room for a girl that they had just walked in off the street.
Yeah. It's like, no, because it's probably like they never meet a real person.
Yeah, she was probably a novelty.
Yeah. It was like, who's this mousy little girl?
Mousy. Another thing from that dressing room scene that I think you will like is there was actually tea in the cup.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a lot. About someone picks up
an empty. Look how heavy this is.
Look at I've got all this tea. But there was actually tea in the cup that I was worried Bill was going to spill at one point.
He was going to spill the tea.
Bill was almost going to spill the tea.
Spill the tea
which
on
wasn't
Eve.
a thing in 1950. She's a simple girl, and despite the very probing questions from Karen and Margot in the dressing room, it's very good that you don't know what really is going on.
Yeah.
And you don't have any hint. Like it was a third of the way through the movie before I was like, it's a bit sus.
Yeah. What was the first thing where you were like, ooh, this is a bit weird?
I reckon I probably had it earlier than most people because I'm very skeptical.
Okay.
Right?
I assume the worst of everyone.
Well,
straight away.
So, case in point, we watched The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, as everybody else did.
Really?
Right?
Yes.
And I don't know if it's because we watch too much true crime or because I'm such a leap to the bad thing. I was really surprised. I made it through 8 episodes and she didn't get touched up. Oh. Like, I just went straight to, she's going to get touched up at some point.
Were you assuming she's a young woman in chess surrounded by all these men, she's going to get touched up?
Yeah, and she lives in an orphanage.
Oh,
like
and the creepy janitor guy could have touched her up or taught her chess.
It took so many boxes of a story that's about to go. Then she got fiddled with, which makes her more determined to become a superstar chess mistress.
Chess mistress.
Grand mistress.
That sounds a bit kinky.
Well, she was pretty sexed.
For a chess player, yeah.
She was by far the hottest chess player in the world.
So was half the cast.
True. Much hotter. Even the one
Neville Longbottom.
No,
it was
the...
the Dudley, the fat one.
Yeah, Dudley, the bad cousin.
Dursley.
Good. Anyway, I think it got a little bit sus when she was standing in the dresses. She said, I'll take the dress back.
Yeah.
And then she stood there. And initially I was like, she's just that much in love with her. But then it was kind of like, actually, maybe. No, actually what it was when she sent a telegram to Bill for his birthday.
How creepy was that, though? Because she did the phone call, which then you would think like, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's doing her job. Good on you.
And then
then she goes, I sent him a telegram myself. Like, you're a creep. You're a psycho.
Yep. It's like Pierce Brosnan checking up on Sally Field last week.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, continuing the theme of things happening quickly, Margot goes from, she's great, and I don't even need Thelma Ritter anymore.
Yeah.
So she's like, she's the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Get her the fuck out of my house.
And in just that little cunning jabs She doesn't really
Didn't know
like
what
when
you
they
were going
have
to say
the
when
party.
you said cunning.
When they linguist, when they come, and, and they have the party, and then
How good are parties though?
oh, wouldn't you
My
just
next-
love to walk around drinking all just martinis,
Actually-
and chain smoking for the whole night
I'm going to make that my next party.
to the point where
I've got a
it's-
piano in my house. I'm going to hire a pianist
What,
for
to
my next
play
party.
Liebestraut?
I don't care. Just there you go.
you can do that in The Sims, so why not do it in real life?
I played a
Don't
show.
lock someone in the room with no doors and watch them.
I played
slowly
a
die.
I
but-
played a show once in a musical, and they were struggling to get players. And
Yeah.
it was a country town, so they got the closest local pianist, who he wasn't actually very good at reading music, but you could name any jazz standard because he was about 80 years old.
right
You could name any jazz standard, and he'd just play it.
over there. Over
So
there.
we'd get there and
That's not
we'd,
jazz,
we'd
but-
do our little warm up, and then we'd just go, "Oi, Neville, play Misty for me." And yes, that's what I'm going to hire at my next party, and everyone's going to drink martinis, but you have to smoke outside.
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna,
if you do smoke, you're not allowed to stop.
yeah, once you have one cigarette, you're just smoking the whole night.
You know what? It was funny, like with the smoking.
Or you can
obviously-
walk around the house and check every receptacle
Yeah.
to see if it's got
got enough
cigarettes in it.
Oh, and the lighter works. That lighter works.
Yep.
That's lighter work.
You know what I'll do? Because I don't want smoking in my house, I'll just buy packets of fads
Oh,
and
God.
put them in
Okay.
all these little dishes around the house.
But if I want a cigar, can you also buy Big Boss
Yeah, we'll get some
Okay,
big
good.
bosses
Good,
for the
good,
for the gentlemen.
for the gentleman?
Only if you wear your top hat when you come.
I have a top hat.
Yeah, and then the ladies
It's
have
green
to wear
'cause
them.
It's from like some St. Patrick's Day costume.
I've got a rainbow one from my Bucks day.
I have an Uncle Sam hat, I think.
Ooh, is that okay?
No, that's fine. He just wanted people to
join the
join
army.
the war. He
Yeah.
didn't say only whites.
I do like that rainbow top hat.
Good.
It was funny because we got on a tram because you made the amazing race around the
Yeah,
city
yeah,
as
yeah.
part of my Bucks. And I was wearing a rainbow tie and a pink sash that you'd crossed out bride and written groom,
yeah.
and then the rainbow top hat. And then everybody in my little team
Rainbow flags
had
everywhere.
a rainbow
Yeah.
flag. And we got on a tram on a Saturday afternoon in Melbourne.
middle
So
of
it
the
was
city,
packed. It was
Pre-COVID.
probably, and there was probably a footy game on.
Yeah,
So there was people. And then I overheard someone go, "I think it's a gay Bucks." No,
You
I
think?
just generally wear this on a Saturday
What
afternoon
do you
with my
mean?
little posse.
I'm on the way to work.
All right, my next party,
You're
you're
going to
have
do
a,
a All About Eve party?
I'm gonna have a piano.
Do you have small little thing of steps?
I will.
Good, because then I'm levels, so I can just walk up every 5 minutes. Go.
I'll make
You're
some.
going to ask me a question.
I'll make some steps up into the theatre room.
Yeah, you're going to ask me a question, and then I'm going to scull a martini, then dramatically walk to the stairs,
Light another cigarette.
and then go, I'm going to fuck shit up. And then that's it.
Oh, and doesn't she what?
It's funny, but because I was like, oh, they're so reacting, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this was Eve's plan all along. She goes, I'm going to go in, I'm going to fuck their friendship up, I'm going to fuck all their relationships up,
Yep.
and they're not going to like anymore, so they're going to have to hire me.
Well, it works. It works in any I think she was covering all of her bases because
Yes.
if she fucks Margot up, she takes Margot's roles.
Yeah.
If she fucks
Karen up.
Karen up,
She fucks their
she
Lloyd.
fucks Lloyd up, and then she
Yeah.
marries Lloyd.
Yeah.
If she fucks Bill up, Margot is destroyed anyway.
Yes.
And if she fucks Margot and Bill up, she can end up with Bill, the director.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she's fine. The only one she didn't cover
Is
was,
Birdie.
was the French producer.
Oh, yeah. Poor Max.
But Marilyn Monroe was working hard on him
Oh, yes.
at the direction of Addison DeWitt.
She was.
She's so stunning. Again, we talked about it in Some Like It Hot, but Marilyn
Phoebe.
Monroe is...
Phoebe?
Yeah, no, Phoebe's the
No.
girl at the end.
Caswell.
Miss Caswell. Not,
You get her
not Miss
name.
Criswell. He said it once, Addison. He said it once,
Anyway,
but
that's
they
not
generally called her Miss...
In like
Criswell.
one of, I think almost her first movie, she wasn't Marilyn Monroe at this stage.
She was in the credits.
She was, but she wasn't like,
Oh, Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
you know.
So it was like Margot Robbie in Home and Away, not, Margot Robbie.
It was more like Margot Robbie in Wolf. No. Did she do something before Wolf of Wall Street?
A couple of little things.
Yeah, she was like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's so young, but so beautiful. And then that little bit is the scene that could be viewed as problematic these days. We need to have a section each week called problematic. Because problematic is the buzzword of that's stage one before you get cancelled.
Problematic. Where if you just apologise and say you're going to learn from it, you're fine.
Yes, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like I watched Love Victor.
Yes.
And
problematic.
No, and the dad says to the youngest kid, who's the precocious kid that I don't like.
Yeah.
That we talked about last week in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Kids don't talk like that.
No, kids don't talk like that. The dad says, "Do you want to watch Jumanji?" And the kid says, "No, it's problematic because Jack Black plays a woman."
Oh, okay.
So problematic is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the scene that could be talked about as problematic.
Okay.
In Addison DeWitt says to Marilyn Monroe, "Go and flirt with
Max to get a gig." Yeah.
Which problematic, and then you cut, but like, has much changed?
But it's also the movie.
That's the point of the movie.
Is commentary on women in show business.
Yes, but so
the fading older one, the new ingenue, the new one just trying to get her started any way she can.
Yep, and I think what makes it actually slightly less problematic is that it hasn't changed enough.
No, exactly.
That thing. And that is a big part of to get serious for a sec, that was a big part of the hashtag #MeToo and the Weinstein and all of that thing.
Yeah.
Is that the Weinstein used that idea that women need to be beautiful and need to do whatever it takes to get their gig. So
Speaking of Margot Robbie, in the movie Bombshell, not in real life.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It is, very much that. Yeah, and I wrote that unfortunately, timeless comment on beauty and men.
Yes.
Is that men just view women as these beautiful objects that they can use to get what they want out of.
Yeah. Except obviously Margot Channing. Because she's a strong woman and they're not married. She's probably old. She's 40, so she's old to not be married probably.
Yes, but I feel like, and she talks about it in the car with Karen, she used to be like Marilyn Monroe and Eve.
Yes.
Young and pretty and feminine and using that. Because she said those things that you sacrifice in order to guarantee basically the longevity and the power of your career are the things you need to then become a wife.
Yes.
So
because there's a career all women share, and that's being a woman. That was a quote.
Oh, okay.
I didn't just make that up.
Came up with that?
I'm not that good.
Jeez, we're lost on podcasting. We should be writing shit down.
Yeah, I am. No scenes. No.
Bette Davis plays a great drunk.
She's good at it. I think she's had a lot of experience.
Yeah, I feel like she might have been drunk, but she's not, like, drunk often gets overplayed.
Yeah. Where she's just sitting at the piano.
She's just sitting at the piano, and then Bill comes over and goes, "When's the viewing of the body?" She's like, "It's not dead yet. I'm going to be buried sitting up."
We're not done with the embalming.
Oh, which is great, because the embalming is obviously she needs to drink more martinis.
Yes.
And all of that party, that's the whole depth of Margot's character.
Oh, you get all levels
in the one scene. It shows how big she is because there's a pianist and a sable coat at the party.
And then the start of the party when it's just Eve and her and Bill.
Yep.
And she's doing the whole, like, I'm an angry woman.
Yep.
That kind of level. And then she goes down to drunk.
The drunk. And then she just becomes a normal emotional person who's going through a change.
Yeah.
I was going to say a change of life, but that's too close to the change of life.
The change of life.
I'm not sure there's the subplot of Margot's menopause.
That's in the sequel.
All about Eve 2, Margot's menopause.
Yeah. It's all about Phoebe.
Or is that menopause?
The creepy girl at the end.
Is that Menopause the musical?
Menopause the musical.
Yeah, it's her whole character in one party. And it's funny that it's halfway through the movie.
Yes.
And we see glimpses of it. She puts on this whole pretense when she first meets Eve of this more fancy than she is, and, you know, Birdie has a go at her about it.
Oh, God.
And then...
How do you do?
Yeah, and then she has a couple of moments where she's angry at Bill, and a couple of moments where she kind of suggests that she feels like she's getting too old. But then it's all there, and is the case when you've had 8 too many martinis. It all comes out in one.
Yeah, she's just wiped or wasted. It was interesting. There's one bit, because like a bit of it is about the age, and there is an age difference between Margot and Bill.
Yeah. Oh, a whole 8 years.
And it's like, oh, he's 32 and he's always looked 32. I was just, then I watched it go, he doesn't really look 32. He looks a bit older than that. Like, it's like, they don't look that, when you look at them, it doesn't look like there's a big age difference.
No, but I think the point is that men age gracefully up.
Yeah.
More gracefully
More
than
gracefully,
women. Yeah. But then, I wrote it again, Margot turns so quickly from loving Eve to... Oh, and then that line when she's going up to the stairs, she's going up to bed, and she says to Bill,
Eve,
you'd love to come, take my clothes off, tuck me into bed, you know, kiss me on the head, whatever.
yeah,
you know.
tuck me in, kiss me goodnight.
Eve would love to. And then Eve goes, I would if you wanted me to. And she goes, I don't want you to.
Yeah, it's just like, stay the fuck away from me.
And then storms off. And then Eve plays Karen.
Yeah.
With like...
She plays Karen like a fiddle. Through this, like a fiddle?
Oh, she's the softest touch in the whole thing.
And
Eve knows it from the one.
She goes, oh, nobody pays attention to the playwright's wife. I'm just going to feed her ego to get what I want. The whole time.
Yep.
To the point where she then makes Karen think it's a good idea to sabotage her best friend's car.
Yep. And
so
subsequently career.
So Eve gets to be the understudy.
And the party is also the start of where you see Eve's manipulation. And you start to see... You don't see her planting the seeds, but you start to see where she's planted the seeds.
Yeah.
And how they're coming. You don't really know until the interview with Addison in the dressing room after her understudy performance that her whole origin story is a lie.
Oh, yeah.
And what was your husband's name? Oh, I'm getting in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, avoiding the question.
Yep.
Red flag.
I did write a note about the small cast because the party scene is where they're all there.
Yeah.
And they're all going, and Eve's going between all of them, and Margot's going between all of them, and they're all so good.
Oh, yeah.
Even Marilyn is in that whole exchange, and Max.
Yeah.
And they're all so good that they just are all going, and no one lets it down.
No, like everybody does their job.
Yeah.
And there's not like, they said like there's a lot of stuff when Bette Davis and Celeste Holm talk about making the movie. And basically...
Celeste Holm is Karen.
Karen, yeah.
Yep.
They did like the first few days or first week or whatever of filming, then they showed it and they're all like, oh... Yeah, this is pretty fucking good. Like, we're doing something pretty good here.
We're fucking nailing this.
So they were like, it's like they sat in a room and went, we're all really good. So let's keep doing it. Let's make it better.
Let's
go.
make sure we're really good.
Yeah.
And they did.
Oscar, let's go. Come on.
It's like, and then Oprah barged in. You get an Oscar. You get an Oscar.
Except only one did.
So of the 4 nominated,
none of the women won.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it because you reckon the old bag lady that we're convinced is the
Yeah,
Academy
yeah,
of Motion
yeah.
Picture Arts
They say that
got confused?
Yeah, she got confused between Bet and Baxter.
Or is it like people are saying, oh, I don't want to age it. It's like people say when someone's really good in a football team, but it's a really good team,
they split the vote.
that they take votes away from each other.
So that's what they reckon because
Like when Gary Ablett won for the Gold Coast, who else was getting the votes?
Yeah. They say because Anne Baxter really like had to push, or somebody pushed for her, I think, to get nominated or whatever in the Best Actress category. Even though she's Eve and it's all about Eve, you think like,
Yeah, but she wasn't Bette Davis.
yeah, right. So then they reckon because
Would
of that,
they have nominated her? Were they originally nominating Best Supporting?
I think so. Which then seems wrong because she's in it a lot.
Yeah, but then if she does, surely Thelma Ritter can't be.
But yeah, no, she can.
Yeah, but like
She's in it for 10. She's in it for like 15 minutes.
yeah,
But still.
But you can't go if Anne Baxter is supporting actress, then Thelma Ritter has to drop off by nudging down. I'm not explaining myself well.
No,
Don't
what
worry
you
about
can
it.
only nominate two in there.
No, not you can only nominate two, but like
But she's sub-supporting.
if she becomes sub-supporting, which there's obviously not a category for,
there's not.
but you're not going to have Anne Baxter, what's her name?
Celeste Holm.
Celeste Holm and
Ritter.
Thelma Ritter nominated in a 5-person category.
Well, you could. It's happened before.
You could.
Not with women, with men.
Yeah, of course.
But, yeah, so they reckon that split the vote. People are like, oh, I don't know who's better. I'll just vote for this one.
Who did get it that year?
Oh, it's the worst thing. It's like...
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh, no. Gwyneth Paltrow, but like 50 years earlier.
Denzel.
It's bad, but it's not. Like, it's this Born Yesterday movie and this woman, Judy Holliday, and she's this ditzy blonde thing. I can't really remember. I watched it once and I was like, Bette Davis is better than this, and I never watched it again.
And Baxter's better than this.
But it was the biggest year, and then because the other movie that this year was Sunset Boulevard, and that's all about Gloria Swanson is very, very good in that as well. So if anything, she should have won. Anyway, we won't dig deeper into that. I could go on and on and on.
So continuing on from the how good the small cast is, that fight scene in the theatre that doesn't come too long after the party
because then it's the audition.
The audition that they all screwed each other over for.
Yep.
That did make me think of the Dreamgirls song.
Oh yeah,
where they all
I'm
fight.
not going. Yeah.
The one before that.
Yeah. It's all over.
It's all over. But better because you can actually see Bill's face move, unlike Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
And you could just the small cast and how well they work together and how good each of them individually is an actor. And acting, as well as I know actors, which I don't, to take one of your
if I was a movie maker, but I'm not.
And then last week you said, as well as I know Sally Field, which I don't.
I've seen her in 4 movies. That's enough.
And ER and
Brothers and Sisters.
And not The Flying Nun.
No, I haven't seen The Flying Nun.
Maybe we should watch that. Anyway, that's for our TV podcast.
That's a TV rewatch podcast of The Flying Nun.
The Flying Nun, Blue Healers, Friends. So, yeah, that fight scene is so good. And each actor individually, and you will have seen in movies where big actors take space away from each other.
Yes.
Really good actors with really commanding performances
and they try
take away from each other.
And they try and overact.
Yeah, or not necessarily
outact each other.
And you know, they may be because, you know, actors have their ego thing, and it may be they're trying to outact each other. But with such compelling and engaging actors, sometimes just doesn't leave enough space for the others. But these 5 that are in this scene, and then Max says a couple of things, obviously, and that makes sense from what you said about they got together after the first few days of, what do they call them?
Rushes?
Dailies.
Ooh.
the first few days and they watch the dailies of them going, this is really good.
Yeah.
We're all really good. We need to be really good.
Yeah.
So in parts, it's I'm Bette Davis and I'm amazing.
Yes.
I'm Anne Baxter and I'm amazing. And then in other parts, it's we're an ensemble
We're amazing.
and we're amazing.
Yeah.
They should have an Oscar for Best Ensemble Cast.
Yeah. They do in the Screen Actors Guild Awards do a Best Ensemble.
That makes sense.
I don't think they'd ever do it at the Oscars. Oh, they could.
It's such an individual
But then they
thing.
just like, then everybody gets one. Then like Tom Cruise
Everyone
would have
gets-
like 3.
Everyone
That
gets a
doesn't seem
statue.
right. Yeah.
What's Tom Cruise ensemble movie?
I
though?
don't know. Rain Man.
Tom Cruise doesn't make
Born on
ensemble
the 4th
movies.
of July.
They're not ensemble movies.
No, but then if you...
they're
it's-
Tom Cruise
no, they go,
movies.
like cast. Outstanding cast in a movie.
No, but an ensemble cast is different. Like you can have an amazing cast, but an ensemble is essentially a movie of 5 leads.
Yeah. But, okay.
I was listening to a podcast recently, and another Aussie movie podcast, and they were talking about American Pie. It's called Total Reboot,
Okay.
if you want to have a listen.
Yes.
And they were talking about American Pie, and when you think about American Pie, you think Jason Biggs.
Yeah.
But really, when you watch it, it's an ensemble.
Yeah.
It's those 4 kids,
The 4 guys want to get laid.
the 4 boys, and slightly Stifler. That's an ensemble.
Yes.
Whereas, like anything with Tom Cruise,
It's a Tom Cruise movie. Yeah.
even Rain Man
Yeah.
is like Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman.
For argument's sake, yes.
Yeah. Mission Impossible is Tom Cruise, The
John
Mission,
Voight.
everybody else.
Yeah. I don't know who anybody else that's in it.
So yeah, this works really well as a powerhouse of individual acting performances and a really strong ensemble
Yes.
performance. But then right through, we continue to get little bits of narrating, which even after the fight scene, still build a bit of mystery about what's going on
Yeah.
and what we don't yet know,
Yeah.
saying to us, oh, there's still more.
Like when, directly after the fight scene, when Lloyd comes home, Karen's painting something. I don't really know why, because she's a housewife. She doesn't have anything to do.
Why wouldn't you paint?
She's just like, oh, and then she's narrating herself thinking of the idea to fuck up Margot.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's weird to watch and then you see like, maybe, and then she does the reaction, like what she's thinking. It's just still...
Oh, yeah, she's reacting and narrating her own reactions.
Whereas if it was in... That's what part of it you could think it was a play as well. Because that would just be kind of like some like soliloquy kind of thing. Which
Yeah.
she would be saying that
It
out
could
loud
be-
on stage.
She's painting, and then Lloyd comes in and Lloyd freezes.
She's like, maybe
Yeah.
I could drain the fuel tank of my husband's car.
After he fills it up.
Yeah.
It's very Gone Girl. Here's something I wrote. Then I wrote, fucking Karen. Because-
Okay, just in
Because,
general.
yeah, Karen does fuck up everything
Yeah.
for Margot.
Which seems very unlike Karen.
A now Karen.
Well, no, and now Karen will do it, but this
Yeah.
character whose name happens to be Karen
Yes.
would not do that
It's
until
only because
Eve gets involved.
Yeah, she's such a soft touch that Eve manipulates so well that she's totally out of character. And that's how
Yeah.
good a manipulator Eve is that she drives Karen completely out of character, which she doesn't do with the other people she manipulates.
No.
She just plants little background things around Bill and around Lloyd, but
Yep.
she fully manipulates Karen to do things very out of her character.
Yeah.
She doesn't, though, manipulate Margot.
Oh, no, because she could.
She manipulates the periphery of Margot
Yeah.
in order to undermine her.
Mm.
And then it all comes together in the ladies' lounge.
Oh, the ladies'
Karen.
lounge.
How good.
What a lounge.
I'm going to put for my party. I'm going to put a couch in the
You're
bathroom.
going to put a couch in the shitter?
Yeah. Well, in the bathroom. I mean, maybe I'll put one. Maybe I'll just get a plank and a mattress over the bath.
Oh, okay.
So
But
it's
you're
like
gonna
a
need-
lounge.
You're going to need to make all the walls in your bathroom mirrors so you can sit there fixing your day hat or whatever. There was one right. It was really distracting. It was like right in the foreground. It's like she's going to the Melbourne Cup. She's got this like fascinator on.
Oh,
Like,
really?
butterfly. It was so. I found it really distracting.
How did
And
you
then
find it distracting? I watched it on a 2.5 meter screen. This little 4:3 old movie.
Maybe because I'd seen it before and I wasn't paying as much attention to what was actually going on. I don't know. But that weird, even the shot when she went into the ladies' lounge and Karen walks in, even the shot of just like, and then creepy pans to Eve just like sitting there quietly.
On the couch in the toilet.
On the couch in the toilet. Yeah, it was just it was creepy. She's a creep. Eve's a creep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Total manipulative.
I sent him a telegram too.
And and that really just rams home how much of a soft touch Karen is.
Because she was legit going to do, like...
Well, she did. She drained the gas tank.
Yeah.
But then even after Karen realises how much she fucked up, because in that car scene with Margot...
She realised it.
She goes, I'm so sorry. And then Margot goes, what, you didn't drain the gas tank? She's like,
And she goes, oh.
But then even after that...
If it was Deadpool, she would have broken the fourth wall and looked directly in the camera. I did, though. And then it would have gone to some, like, 80s song.
By Wham or George Michael.
Either one. They're the same person.
They're the same, apparently. But even after she realises how badly she's fucked up and potentially ruined her best friend's career, she was still
going to fuck her over again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even before Eve full blackmailed her.
Oh, yeah.
Like she was 80% there.
Yep.
Because she's so soft. And then Eve was like, well, if you don't do it, I'm going to tell everyone you fucked up your husband's car.
Yeah.
And you fucked up
and then I'll just
Margot.
tell them that you said critics should come to my thing.
Yeah.
Fucking Addison DeWitt is also an arsehole.
Yeah, but he is from
He's
day
like the
one.
Perez Hilton of the 50s.
But he is from day one. And we know that.
You're not surprised by
Critics
that.
are meant to be
Because
assholes.
at the start, he's sitting there on the same table at that thing with I suppose it would have been Eve's table. Anyway, and he's sitting there with a cigarette with the stick in it, which I've always wanted to smoke.
I'll have them.
No smoke in it.
I'll have them at my party next to the big buses.
I'm a lofty gay in the 50s. I'm assuming.
Who knows?
I think he was.
But critics are meant to be...
Well, later on, because later on it was just like, you're going to be my wife. You're going to be my beard.
We didn't say beard.
Well.
Wife. Why wouldn't you? Marilyn Monroe's turned him down, obviously.
Yeah. She's off to Hollywood, I assume.
Yeah, you would think
why would
so.
you go to Hollywood?
Oh, Hollywood.
Like the Hollywood actress at the party that stays for 5 minutes.
That was another jab when the saber.
You don't even see the Hollywood woman.
The saber, but then the saber coat is put on the bed, and someone says, "Oh, who's this?" And she goes, "Oh, picture people."
Yeah, just like one of those, because people in the movies don't act.
No,
compared to the stage,
compared to the theater.
Yes.
And then, yes, and that's when we all really see in the ladies' lounge all of the manipulation that Eve has done.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we realise that Eve has been manipulating everyone this entire time. Because even though Karen does the thing, we don't realise it's because of Eve's manipulation until then. And then your brain clicks back to all of these things.
Yeah. And if it was a modern movie, there would have been like little flashbacks.
If it was a modern movie, you'd already know. You would have been told from the start.
The start would have been, there'd be things in it already.
Yeah.
Rather than scenes of Eve doing manipulative shit that you don't see, you would have seen them.
You would have seen them, yeah. And that's part of the problem with modern movies.
Yep.
So then the weakest shot of the whole film.
They're walking down the
They're
street.
walking down the street in New Hampshire or wherever it is for the out of town because they're walking at your pace, but the camera's going at this pace on the YouTube.
We're just
You
taking
can
a
see
light
that.
jog from upstate New York.
Yes, while the camera just walks slowly next to us.
I'm going to keep doing this. It's actually kind of a
Don't.
workout.
Looks weird.
Going to make people sick. If they're
I'm just going to put that on our TikTok. You go and
And then in the background, you can have something
in
else.
the background, I'll just have us walking down Burke Street.
That always takes me out of it a bit. That one shot, I'm like, oh, no, because I was watching it. I'm like,
You go, oh yeah, it's a movie.
oh, yeah. No, I was watching it and I go, getting up to that point, I'm like, oh, this shot, I remember.
But then it all comes out that Addison DeWitt has worked it all out after he tried to interview her in the the dressing room. And
Because he also saw her trying to crack onto Bill.
yeah.
Why do you want me, Bill? She's very good, Anne Baxter.
Mm.
She has a few different voices. Oh, I shouldn't say voices. Like ways of talking.
Personalities of
Yeah.
voices.
She goes, I'm a soft little Wisconsin thing. And then it's like, I'm flirting with the director. And then it's like, I'm a crazy bitch. She doesn't do it like, you know.
And then it's, oh, Addison. Yep. And yeah, the whole farce of it, the whole manipulation, the whole lie of the origin story
Yeah.
comes out, and then she cries,
Very well.
which I think is a little bit real. Do you think she's trying to
Yeah.
manipulate Addison with the tears, or do you think she's really thinking it's all come crashing down?
I've always thought that it's all come crashing down. Because she probably always thought, like, I'm so smart and I'm great at this. Nobody's ever going to find me out. And then Addison finds her out and she's like, ew, now I have to do what he says. So her perfect plan is not perfect anymore.
And then she realizes she can have her career, but
Yes.
she's
Has to marry Addison.
a bit like Britney to Jamie Spears.
Ooh,
Topical. Hashtag free Britney. Oh, the fridge just turned on.
The fridge, my fridge is weird.
And then
It's a good...
try and tell me what you think I wrote here.
Wait, as in your handwriting?
Viewers.
That's what Lee's handwriting is, everyone. So
it says there,
I can't read that.
does repay mean ask for forgiveness?
Give me it.
That's the
Does
word.
repay.
Does repay ask for forgiveness?
Do you reckon it's meant to be repay?
No, someone says repay.
Does repay mean ask for forgiveness?
I'll repay. Eve offers to repay things.
Repay
that,
what?
I don't know, but is that her asking for forgiveness?
Then Eve is childish.
That's the next scene at the awards, back at the awards.
She dies in the end. No, anyway. Spoiler alert. She gets killed by a psycho creepy high school student.
Phoebe.
Does
Does repay
repay
mean ask for forgiveness?
Oh, does he say it to her? He says something like, you're going to have to repay for what you did. Does he say that?
Anyway, moving on. We don't know. If you know, get in touch.
Hey, no, I won't.
So then we go back to the start, which is back to the awards ceremony, which is more theatre people with better awards than those pesky Oscars.
Even if the award statuette is just what looks like a woman sitting on a golden toilet.
As opposed to a man just standing with his arms crossed.
Yeah.
But he's not sitting on the toilet.
He's not sitting on the toilet, but he's naked.
And then Addison goes, you have to come to this party. Max has put a lot of effort and it's your party.
I can't, I'm too tired.
And
I don't know why I said that.
And then Addison goes, oh, you're just being childish, which is the word that people have used to refer to Margot throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
And then
Full circle.
That's what I wrote, circle of theatre woman.
No,
It is the circle of life.
We arrive on the stage.
Because the
and blinking step into the spotlight. There's more to be Eve.
Seen. No, there's more to be seen.
Ever be
SCENE.
Eve. Oh.
Yeah. We'll rewrite that for our
More
parody.
to do than can ever be done.
We'll rewrite that for our parody song playlist on YouTube. That's not coming. Then, after that, the scene with Phoebe in the hotel.
Phoebe.
It is very creepy, but this is my one, other than the scene walking down the street in New Hampshire, my one criticism of the movie is that is too obvious.
Oh, it's too like, it's going to happen to her.
Yeah, it's too much like, hey, you know how Eve started? This is Phoebe. She's like Eve.
Maybe it was too long. Like, it could have just been... You know what it could have just been? It could have just been,
oh, I'm Evie, I'm writing an article on you. Oh, and then the door knocks. Go and get that. End of the movie.
You know what it could have been? Eve could have gone up. I nearly said George DeWitt. Addison DeWitt could have just come in there. And then he comes back with the award.
Yep.
And sees the woman waiting there. And then she's like, oh. And then he goes, give this to, what's her face?
Eve.
And then she looks at it and goes up, and that's it. So you don't need the scene of the interaction with...
I think it's too... Because
then the thing that doesn't make... There's a little... In my mind, that the timeline of the movie doesn't fully make sense to me.
Eve's not old enough to be Margot?
No, because in the start when Karen's doing her thing, she was like, Eve, I remember when I met her... Oh, it's June now.
It seems like only
October.
A year. Yeah,
it's only like 8 months.
Yeah,
but then in that time, this happened. They did this play. They rewrote a new play and put it all on again. And then Eve did what 3 performances of this play.
Yeah,
and she's already got chapters and chapters of fan clubs
and won an equivalent of an Oscar.
Yeah,
yeah. That did seem a little bit rushed.
Yes,
but it makes other than schools and schools of fan clubs making, because the theatre isn't national. Who will have seen her?
Oh, just she's from Brooklyn. That was bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
So, but she's like, there's chapters of fan clubs all over the country. Who from bloody North Dakota would have seen Eve on the stage?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit weird.
So,
it's not like it's a movie and they all would have seen the movie.
They might have just read the reviews and then started, oh, this is a up-and-coming woman.
If you think it's not really explained how much time is in between when they first meet Eve and... like
the understudy.
The party, and then the party and when they're in the lounge. Yeah. I think then there's a whole other 6 months where they could have done another play.
True. But it was too much because it was like all of the things that Eve did in the first 40 minutes of the movie, Phoebe did in one scene. Helped pack her bags, answered the door for her.
Pretended to be her with her clothes on.
Got the clothes. And
cleaned up the thing.
Yeah.
Flirted with, I fucked Addison DeWitt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knew who Addison DeWitt was.
Oh, I know all about you. Because I don't know, is he a critic or a gossip columnist?
They're both. Critics are terrible people. We're movie reviewers. We just read on that social media post before. Someone, Cora, which is a social media question thing.
But also
someone asked a question.
The character in the play.
Oh, yeah. It's Quora. Do you reckon it's Cora or Quora? It's not Quora.
It's not Quora.
It's Cora, like questions.
Quokka.
It's not Quokka. It's Cora, like
quote.
Who knows?
Quora.
Quora, that site with the questions. And someone asked, is West Side Story worth watching in 2021? So then we, as Two Drink Cinema, posted and said, here's our review. Listen to our podcast, as you all should have as well. Mm-hmm. And then a few answers down, there was someone, film critic, yes.
Yeah, that was there. So if you ever need a quick critique about a movie,
ask that person. We're not going to know names.
I don't know who they were. I can't even remember now.
Wasn't Addison DeWitt
so quickly. Oh, no, he would rabble on and on, wouldn't he?
He'd write a whole thing about Ansel Elgort and about Rita Moreno and all the scandals that they've been involved in.
Rather.
So then it ends with Phoebe in the coat.
The mirror.
In the
mirror scene.
wall of mirrors. But how hectic is the music?
I know. It's like, she's going to murder Eve.
It's about like...
Yeah.
That you could put that in a Hitchcock movie.
The music does work well in this because it's like...
There were a couple of times...
Maybe not so much at the end.
It was way too big in that one. And there were a couple of times that it was too big. But for the most part, I didn't notice it, which is good.
There is one bit that I really noticed it in the party scene where
Not
they're
when he's
all
playing
they're all
the
like
funeral music.
I think they're all like sitting around on the stairs. I think it's that bit.
Mm.
And they're talking about who would be an actor, and Eve's going on like, oh, if anything, it's just for the applause and acting and this, that, and while she's having this weird inner monologue, but out loud, it's the score, blah blah blah, and then she like snaps, and then it goes back to just like background party music. So it's like she's just genuinely being Eve. I'm obsessed with becoming the next big actress on the stage.
Yeah,
and then goes, oh, I'm meant to be playing a character.
Oh, I'm meant to be just at the party. But that
I've got to compete with Marilyn Monroe. I've got no chance.
That final scene is a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been simplified for the same point.
I also don't get, maybe I didn't fully understand, because she was going to go to the party with Addison.
Yeah.
Then she was like, take the award. It's more about
the
this than me.
party's really for the statue.
Just go.
Well,
but then why did he come back with the award? Because he said she left it in the taxi. Yeah, but because you were meant to take it to the party.
No, I think he was like, well, if you're not coming, fuck the statue. That statue's not coming either.
Yeah.
If you're going to be that childish, sit in your fucking room with your statue and cry. But that point of her saying it's more about the statue than of me goes back to what Margot was saying about when I step off the stage, Margot Channing is no more.
Yes.
Because Margot Channing is just this facade that people like from the stage.
She's Carol Channing.
I'm Spartacus.
Don't do it again.
It's
going to be a bumpy night.
We got to watch some Carol Channing movies.
I got to watch more Carol Channing so I realise how she actually sounds other than Raspberries and Spartacus.
And Ryan Stiles' impersonation of her. If you haven't seen it, it's back on our Instagram, and we reference it in
Drag Queens
Spartacus.
impersonations.
And we reference it in our Spartacus episode, and we reference it in our Mrs. Doubtfire
It's like
episode.
the most running joke. We've mentioned it as much as Back to the Future.
Hey,
almost.
ding.
Hey! I didn't even mean that on purpose.
And Indiana Jones, ding.
You know, making the movie though, because there's good chemistry on set between the actors. You would imagine because they do quite well. Celeste Holm and Bette Davis actually they're best friends.
Oh, really?
No, they fucking hate each other.
Oh, I was going to say, two women in the theater.
In the theater,
two women actors loving each other.
Apparently, the story is Betty. Okay, it is no surprise to anyone that Bette Davis,
Addison DeWitt, give us the gossip.
It is no surprise to anyone that Bette Davis is a bitch. So it's a thing. There's a lot of stories about it, to the point where she's been such trouble on set that when one director that she worked with previously found out that Joseph L. Mankiewicz hired her to be in a movie.
Yep.
And he contacted Joseph L. Mankiewicz and was like, "Are you fucking serious? Do not do this.
Do you really want to do that?
She will make your life hell." But she didn't, because she actually liked the movie. So it's good.
Well, maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
Don't hire me for
your
shit
movie
movies.
was shit. So on the first day on set, apparently they all got there, blah, blah, blah. And Celeste Holm, Karen, said something like, "Good morning." And then Bette Davis said something like, "Oh, well, shit, good manners." Or something. And then, it was, I don't know, paraphrasing. And they never spoke to each other again.
Well, no wonder Karen's tirades at Margot are so convincing.
Yeah. But then apparently the funny thing is that
was actually unscripted. It was just Celeste having a go at Betty.
That Bette Davis and Anne Baxter got along like a house on fire.
Do you reckon Bette Midler was named after Bette Davis?
I don't
But
know.
then when she wanted to be an entertainer, changed it to Bette so people wouldn't think she was named after Bette Davis?
No, I don't know. Or is it like it's like you didn't have a chance, like how Martina Hingis's parents named her Martina after Martina,
And then gave her a
Navratilova,
tennis
and were
racket at
like,
the age
"Here
3."
you go, win Grand Slams. The other quote I have about on-set dramas
Yes.
is about when Bette Davis met Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
and didn't say this to her face, but as in like, I'm here talking to another person.
Yep. And I'm Marilyn Monroe.
That little blonde slut couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. Hey, she's got Bette Davis eyes.
Final thoughts?
She's got Bette Davis.
I know one more thought
Jabs.
that I was saving till the very end. It is a very women powerful film filled with comments about women and their qualities.
Written by a man.
Do you think reboot, redo, remake? Or are you surprised it hasn't been floated as a remake?
I'm surprised I haven't heard about it being floated as a remake.
Yes.
But I think there are certain movies in Hollywood history and folklore that are so good that you just can't remake them. Which is interesting, is what I probably would have said about West Side Story. But hey, here we are.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine being
The director that has to direct the remake of All About Eve.
Who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to play freaking Margot Channing. I'm not going to try and do that. There's no way.
Who would you cast? Let's take a break. We're going to talk about it in the break.
Okay.
And in our little promo break. So
We're
we're going to
we're going to recast All About Eve. She's got Bette Davis eyes.
All right, we have recast a 2022.
We've refilled, we've recast, we've
refilled.
restocked.
Cheers. So welcome back. We've recast Bette Davis Eyes. I was going to call the movie.
Bette Davis
the
Eyes.
movie is called All About Eve.
It's
It
All
has
About
Bette
Eve.
Davis in it originally.
And her eyes.
Okay. I'm going to start with, no, you said you could make it all Australian.
Well, and then I got after 3 and I was like, I can't.
Okay. So I think we've said the same. I've just looked over at your sheet. We've said,
We
the,
said the
same.
same for
Kate
Margot.
Blanchett for Margot.
And then I also said all Nicole Kidman.
Because
But then Nicole Kidman might be too old.
but she could be a little bit off at the moment. Kate Blanchett
Right.
is, I think, known enough as a very good dramatic
Yeah.
actor now
Yeah.
to be, but like a centerpiece dramatic actor.
Yeah, can carry
Nicole
a film.
Kidman is incredible,
Yeah.
but I don't think she's quite the centerpiece.
Margot Channing.
Margot Channing. So Kate Blanchett. I think we both, once you said Australian in the break, and we'd already referenced her earlier in the episode, both said Margot Robbie for Eve.
I did write her first, and then I changed my mind.
Oh, I like that name actually. Say it right.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
Because, like, young
Yes.
actress,
Pretty.
good, would be able to do it.
Yep. I feel like they would get someone less known
Right.
to really make the point of
Willow Smith.
this is a really this is a less known actor playing a less known actor, but doing it really well.
Right.
I don't know anyone because they're obviously unknown.
Camila Cabello.
Selena Gomez.
Hilary
Zendaya.
Duff. Zendaya could be good.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, okay. Zendaya.
And diversity.
Well, Karen was my diversity.
Okay, because I was going to
Because-
say, if you were going to put Birdie as your diversity lead, then that's,
Yeah, no.
that's a bit problematic.
So, okay, so Karen is ticking the diversity box, but I have to say, as a disclaimer, I haven't cast her just for diversity.
Okay, you think she'll be good at it?
She'll be incredible.
Yeah.
Viola Davis as Karen.
Viola Davis could be... No, she's too old.
Well, I put her as Margot as well, a possible Margot.
Yeah.
because she can be, and she's proven that she can be, a centerpiece of a
Oh, yeah.
of a movie.
And a TV series, yes.
Yes. And so I think Viola Davis as Karen, because she can be nice and the
Yeah.
soft touch of Karen.
Yeah.
But she can also be, fuck you, Margot, you're being a bitch.
Yeah. You know who I wrote, which is very weird and very obscure, because I was trying to think of someone, but then I was
Juliana
like...
Margulies.
Yes. No, too old. Juliana Margulies could be Margot. No.
Lisa McCune.
Yeah, right. No, I was trying to think, and then it's very obscure. Rashida Jones.
As Karen?
I don't know.
I think she's a bit young.
Yeah.
You'd have to cast someone like Amy Poehler as Birdie then.
Well, no. Close. No, but because she's like good and she's in movies, but she's not too flashy, and because you couldn't. But my thing was like
She's a
couldn't
bit-
have someone too grand and too glamorous.
She's a bit sitcom-y.
Yeah,
Which,
I don't know.
and I think
it's hard to because she's nothing. Well, I don't want to keep saying
she's
that.
not nothing, but
It's a very compared
but she's
to the
also
other women.
Thelma Ritter isn't a comedy actress. She's a funny actress in dramas.
Right.
And I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
After you said Australian, I said Birdie is Jackie Weaver.
So did I.
We were going to make this. I was going to make this trivia to see if we could align.
And then I said Tina Fey, but too young.
Yes. So I'm agreeing on Zendaya.
I like Zendaya.
I'm agreeing on Kate Blanchett.
Yep.
Are we agreeing on Viola Davis as Karen? Who did you have?
Rashida Jones, but I don't like that now. You've talked me out of it.
Viola Davis, Jackie Weaver
Jackie Weaver, 100%.
as Karen,
Yeah.
as Birdie.
Yeah.
Nathan
Nathan Lane.
Addison.
I was just because I'm convinced that Addison DeWitt is gay.
Okay.
So I just wrote gays. I just wrote a gay. That's all I wrote.
You know who would be...
Pumbaa.
And I
Timon.
don't want to typecast him because the only two things I've seen him in, he's played a bitter writer, is the guy who plays the critic in The Greatest Showman. Because it's the same character.
That guy.
It's the same character.
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
not sure he's
Is he Australian?
big enough. Yeah, neither Zendaya or Viola Davis.
That's true.
I'm not sure he's big enough as an actor to be that big a part.
Yeah.
When you were saying all Australian, I did think Sam Neill.
Or Jeffrey Rush.
Too old now.
Yeah. But
Jeffrey-
Addison DeWitt's not. Yeah. But then if he's going to go, you're going to marry me, Zendaya, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, particularly Jeffrey Rush's age, considering some of the past accusations.
True.
But at least we're not saying Craig McLachlan.
I was going to say that. Oh, man.
But not Australian. You want older, but dignified.
Christoph Waltz.
No, he's too...
Then he could be Addison.
He's
I
too-
don't know why he's Swedish.
He's too caricatured of himself, Christoph Waltz, now.
right.
He seems to just play an extension of what he played in Inglourious Bastards now.
Yeah.
Which is not a criticism of him, it's a criticism of casting,
Yes.
really. Addison DeWitt. Did you have someone?
I wrote Nathan Lane.
Too much. I
Or
think he's
Eric
too big.
Stone Street.
I just don't want them to be too gay.
Eric Stone Street's not too
'Cause
gay.
I don't
he just
feel
plays
like-
gays.
I don't feel like it's a good representation.
Oh.
And the point of recasting in 2021 is to represent well.
Oh, like James Corden in The Prom where he played a gay.
Yeah. So we don't want
What if it's James Corden then?
Addison to be gay.
You don't?
Because in 2021, a gay theatre critic wouldn't need a beard
Oh,
if that's
true.
your
Okay.
idea, which I
Yeah.
don't think it is. So, Addison.
John Wood.
William McInnes is the
Javier
right
Bardem.
age. William McInnes is the right age.
I can't.
We're drawing a blank. That's
Make it
minor.
a woman. Make it a woman, and make that Viola Davis.
Yeah,
Done.
sure. So then who do you give Karen
Octavia Spencer. Taraji P. Henson. Just naming black actresses now.
to?
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston could be Karen. She actually popped into my head
Yeah.
because she did do the very
What
serious
if it's
in
Lisa
Morning.
Kudrow instead?
She'd be Birdie.
That's true. If
And
you
now
were,
we're
if
just-
you were casting the Friends cast as
Okay, so Addison, Bill, and what's the director's name? Lloyd. Okay, now cast the cast of Friends into Eve, Margot, Karen, Addison, Bill, and Lloyd.
Okay, so Gunter would be Lloyd.
Ross would be Max.
Ross would be the big fuck ugly naked guy. What's he called?
And then
Lloyd would be.
no, we're doing this. Ross
Lloyd
is Max.
would be Matthew Perry.
Chandler.
Yeah,
Okay. Ross is Max.
but who's gonna be Addison? Gunter.
So
Gunther?
Bill-
Gunther.
Bill is Addison.
Is Joey.
No, Addison has to be Gunter, and so Bill is Joey.
Gunther.
Gunther.
Yeah.
And then Eve is so Birdie is Phoebe.
Yeah.
And then Karen is
Janet. Is Courtney Cox.
Monica.
Yeah.
And then Margot is Rachel.
Yeah, and then Eve is
Janice.
Janice.